The old farmhouse stood silent, its weathered walls whispering secrets of the past. The wind howled faintly, brushing against the creaking wooden panels, as if trying to warn of something unseen. A chill hung in the air. It was cold, but that wasn't the only reason for the goosebumps. There was a weight, an unshakable feeling of being watched, as though unseen eyes lingered in the shadows. Something wasn't right. In the attic, faint sounds broke the silence. A soft creak, a shuffle, almost too quiet to notice, but unmistakable to those who listened closely. Footsteps. Someone was up there. The sound was deliberate, each step slow and measured, as if whoever, or whatever it was, wanted to be heard. But who? The family living below was sure they were alone. They had locked the doors, bolted the windows. No one could have entered, or so they thought. This was just the beginning of the nightmare. The isolation of the farmhouse, surrounded by dark woods and endless fields, only added to the growing unease. The year was 1922, a time when life was simpler, but dangers were no less real. The place was Hinterkaifeck, a small farm in Germany, a quiet, unassuming place far removed from the chaos of the cities. The footsteps would be just the first unsettling clue in a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. They echoed through the farmhouse, a haunting reminder of an unseen presence. The footsteps were more than just unsettling. The family had been hearing them for days. Each night the sounds grew louder, more persistent, as if the intruder was growing bolder. They searched the attic. They found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of anyone hiding. The mystery deepened. Fear turned to paranoia, and paranoia to sleepless nights. The family, the Grubers, felt a growing sense of dread. They began to question their own sanity, wondering if the sounds were real or a cruel trick of the mind. Little did they know, something truly horrific awaited them. The storm outside was nothing compared to the storm brewing within their own home. The footsteps were a harbinger of the darkness to come, a warning of the unspeakable events that would soon unfold. A warning they couldn't understand. A message lost in the echoes of the past, leaving only fear and unanswered questions in its wake. Hinterkaifeck. The name itself sounded isolated. The farm was miles from the nearest village. Surrounded by dense woods, it felt like a world away. The Grubers were used to the solitude. Andreas and Kazilia Gruber, along with their two children, Hans and Kazilia, lived a simple life. They had a farmhand, Joseph, and a maid, Maria. The farm was their world, a world that was about to be shattered. Life on the farm was quiet. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. But the isolation had its downsides. It made the Grubers vulnerable. No one could hear their cries for help. No one could see the evil that was lurking. The farm was a sanctuary from the outside world, but it was also a prison. And in this prison, a nightmare was about to unfold. The footsteps in the attic were just the beginning. They were faint at first, almost easy to dismiss as the creaks of an old house settling, but soon they became more distinct, deliberate, as if someone, or something, was pacing above. Strange events began to plague the Gruber family. The once peaceful farmhouse seemed to harbor a growing unease, a tension that seeped into their daily lives. A set of house keys went missing. At first it seemed like a simple oversight, but the family couldn't shake the feeling that it was more than just a coincidence. Eerie noises echoed from the attic. The creaks and whispers seemed to grow louder at night, filling the house with an unsettling presence. Andreas, the father, found strange footprints in the snow leading to the farm, but none leaving. The sight chilled him to the bone, raising questions he couldn't answer. He confided in his neighbors, sharing his growing fears. They listened, but their reassurances did little to ease his mind. He spoke of a feeling of dread, a sense that someone was watching them. The feeling was impossible to shake, lingering like a shadow over the family. But the isolated nature of Hinterkaifeck made it easy to dismiss his fears. The farm was far from prying eyes, surrounded by dense forest and silence. The family maid, Maria, quit just days before the murders. She left in a hurry, her reasons vague but unsettling. She claimed the farm was haunted. Her words lingered, adding to the growing sense of unease that enveloped the Gruber family. This only amplified the chilling atmosphere. The farm, once a place of hard work and routine, now felt like a trap. The Grubers, however, dismissed her fears as superstition. They clung to their routines, unwilling to let fear disrupt their lives. They had work to do. The farm demanded their attention, and they couldn't afford to let their imaginations run wild. They couldn't afford to be afraid, but the unease lingered, a quiet undercurrent beneath their daily tasks. But as the days grew shorter, so did their time. The shadows seemed to grow longer, the nights colder, as if the farm itself was holding its breath. The footsteps in the attic, the missing keys, the strange noises, they were all pieces of a terrifying puzzle. A puzzle that seemed to be assembling itself piece by piece in the dark corners of the farm. A puzzle that was about to reveal a horrific picture, one that would haunt Hinterkaifeck forever. Days turned into a horrifying discovery. The quiet countryside, once serene, now held a sinister secret. The air seemed heavier, as if the land itself mourned what had transpired. A neighbor ventured to the Hinterkaifeck farm. Silence greeted him. The animals were untended, their cries echoing in the stillness. The house, eerily still, seemed to hold its breath, as if aware of the horrors within. He pushed open the door to a scene of unimaginable horror. The air inside was cold, heavy with the stench of death. Shadows danced on the walls, amplifying the dread. The Gruber family, along with their maid and granddaughter, lay brutally murdered. The barn, once a place of labor and life, had become a macabre tomb. Andreas, Kazilia, their 2 children, and their granddaughter were found in the barn, slaughtered with a mattock. The tool, a symbol of hard work, now bore the weight of unspeakable violence. The maid, Maria, lay dead in her bed. Her room, once a place of rest, now stood as a silent witness to the atrocity. The murder weapon, a mattock, was found at the crime scene. Its presence was a chilling reminder of the brutality inflicted upon the family. The killer had taken the time to gather the family together before ending their lives. This deliberate act added a layer of cruelty to an already heinous crime. The brutality of the act sent shockwaves through the region. The once peaceful village was now shrouded in fear and suspicion, its residents haunted by the unanswered questions. Who could commit such a heinous crime, and why? The mystery deepened as the days passed, leaving the community desperate for answers. The isolation that had once defined Hinterkaifeck now made it a chilling crime scene. The farm, surrounded by dense forest, seemed to hold its secrets tightly. A place frozen in time, forever marked by the brutal murders. The Hinterkaifeck farm would never be the same, its name etched in infamy. Section 5. The Missing Maid. The investigation began immediately, but Hinterkaifeck, so isolated in life, seemed equally impenetrable in death. The new maid, Maria Baumgartner, had only started working on the farm the very day of the murders. Her presence, so close to the crime, raised immediate questions. Had she unknowingly walked into a nightmare? Or, was there a more sinister connection? Witnesses claimed to have seen smoke rising from the farm's chimney in the days following the murders. Someone, it seemed, had stayed at Hinterkaifeck after the family was dead. Had the killer lingered, haunted by their actions? Or was it someone else, drawn to the scene by some unknown motive? The mystery deepened, fueled by the eerie silence of the isolated farm. Inside the farmhouse, investigators uncovered more chilling clues. The killer hadn't just vanished into thin air, oh no. Evidence showed they had stayed on the farm for several days after the murders. Food had been eaten, someone had fed the cattle, and perhaps most disturbingly, the killer even slept in the farmhouse. A thought so chilling it sent shivers down the spines of even the most hardened investigators. Why stay? What could have compelled the killer to remain at the scene of such a horrific crime? Was it remorse? Or perhaps something far more sinister? A need to relive the horror, a twisted sense of satisfaction, the meals, the chores, These mundane acts took on a ghastly significance, painting a picture of a killer disturbingly at ease with their horrific deeds. Theories swirled like the wind through the trees surrounding Hinterkaifeck. Some whispered of family secrets, long-held grudges, simmering resentments. There were rumors that Andreas Gruber had an affair with his daughter-in-law. Could that have been a motive? A crime of passion, perhaps? Others speculated about a robbery gone wrong, though oddly enough, nothing of real value seemed to be missing from the farm. The farm's isolated location suggested a killer familiar with the area, someone who could move unseen and then vanish without a trace. Suspects emerged only to be cleared, leads ran cold, and the investigation, once a flurry of activity, slowed to a crawl. The truth, much like the farm itself, remained shrouded in shadow. Despite years of investigation and countless theories, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain unsolved. The killer, their motive, their connection to the family, all of it remains a mystery. The case has become a dark legend, a haunting reminder of the evil that can lurk in the shadows, even in the most remote corners of the world. The Hinterkaifeck murders serve as a chilling reminder: evil can strike anywhere, at any time. The isolation of the farm, the sheer brutality of the crime, and the eerie details of the killer's actions all combine to create a sense of unease that lingers even to this day. It's a story that continues to fascinate and terrify, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can hide beneath the surface of the ordinary. Today, the Hinterkaifeck farm is gone, demolished just a year after the murders. But the story, it lives on. Passed down through generations, it's a chilling tale whispered around campfires, recounted in hushed tones. The site where the farm once stood remains a place of pilgrimage for true crime enthusiasts, drawn to the enduring mystery and horror of that fateful night. The footsteps in the attic, the missing keys, the brutal murders, the killer's unsettling calmness, these details continue to haunt the imagination. The Hinterkaifeck murders remain an unsolved puzzle, a terrifying enigma that fascinates and frightens in equal measure, a chilling reminder that some mysteries may never be solved.